What happened? Michelle Obama just bailed out on Barack and the girls, and she's off to a billionaire's island all alone. Well, we all knew that they had planned on taking a long, well-deserved vacation in Palm Springs, California, but something has gone wrong. Well, now we know that Michelle Obama is a strong-willed, strong-minded woman. What happened? Something happened. They argued. This is Necker Island. On the left, Richard Branson's private island Michelle escaped to after enduring a rain-soaked Palm Springs. Branson's private plane landed with Michelle aboard. His plane here is on the right, pictured with another aircraft, possibly the one Barack Obama ended up taking to exclusive private island of Branson, Richard Branson, Necker Island. Richard Branson is a billionaire owner of Virgin Airlines, as we know. There's quite a few people that have been interested in getting a pool started as to how long it takes the Obamas as a couple to file for a divorce now that their presidency in the White House has come to an end. It's, of course, some kind of a standing joke, but we recall January 1st, 2014, quote, "I'd bet my bottom dollar Michelle and Barack moved to different locations the day his presidency ends. Their marriage, like all the rest of Obama's life, is a total lie, a sham. Mark this day on your calendar that I said this. He needed a wife for his presidential run, and I guess Michelle thought she could tolerate him in exchange for the White House," end quote. That's what one person said. He was only off by 5 days, perhaps. Imagine how nice it would be if instead of the mainstream media continuing to endlessly report on the crowd size of President Trump's inauguration, which they've been lying about all along the way, as evidenced by CNN's. Every few days they come out with something other fake news and lies. They actually diverted some of those resources to cover what looks like it could be trouble in paradise for the former First Lady. Michelle Obama's recent temper tantrum and her departure for Richard Branson's private island, Necker Island. It signifies the beginning of the end for the Michelle and Barry Obama couple and their family. Well, that remains to be seen, but we shouldn't be surprised if these two are living on opposite ends of the country for a long time. But why? It's absolutely everything the mainstream media has reported about Barack Obama since the day he announced he was running for president. It has been an enormous lie, starting with their marriage. The following video here reviews stories concerning Barack Obama that the mainstream media has refused to cover. And it's not because they're not serious enough to cover, it's because they have merit. Some of what the video says below includes things like this. Michelle and Barack living separately for years prior to Barack running for the U.S. Senate. Michelle's comments about being a quote-unquote single mother back when Barack was a senator. Member of Chicago's Trinity United Church of Christ claims Barack and her son were involved, quote-unquote involved. Obama's use of 3 separate social security numbers throughout his life. That's, of course, criminal. You only are supposed to have one. Obama's campaign turning in 3 different birth certificates in Alabama during his 2012 campaign, a very real lawsuit that rose to the level of the Alabama Supreme Court before it was ultimately punted by the court so as to avoid a national crisis. Sheriff Arpaio's team just recently revealed that the birth certificate of Obama released to the White House on the White House website has been confirmed as a fake by foreign experts on multiple continents. So the article here in this video seems to suggest what was first written about the Obamas as far back as 3 years ago. Did Michelle really only agree to resume living under the same roof as Barack Obama because of the lifestyle being First Lady offered her? Well, we'll find out in the near future. Time will tell. We don't think we'll have to wait too long because of what's already developing. This is what Mad World News reports. Quote, the Obamas were scheduled to spend a few weeks in Palm Springs, California, but that all abruptly changed when Michelle was caught boarding a private jet alone. Barack was photographed visibly upset, leaving an exclusive Rancho Mirage golf course, and daughters Sasha and Malia were nowhere to be found. Now we know why Michelle had a tantrum, demanding to leave, and you'll be pissed off as she screws taxpayers again. Reports from Palm Springs say that the Obamas were very upset over all the rain they had to endure. They envisioned a sun-soaked time after leaving the White House, but instead Mother Nature brought thunderstorms almost non-stop, and that really put Michelle in a foul mood. Daily Mail reports, quote, on Friday, low clouds covered the valley, temperatures dropped to a chilly 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and rain flooded the streets of the city. Not an ideal start to their vacation. I guess they couldn't stand being locked up close to each other either. There was nothing for them to do. The weather was so bad, the government plane carrying the family was diverted to March Air Force Base some 44 miles away. End quote. Michelle never did leave the home of Spanish Ambassador James Costos and his partner Michael Smith, obviously gay. The gay couple the Obamas are friendly with, especially since they live on an exclusive golf course. Since leaving the White House, the Obamas seem to be reduced to the charity of friends, and Michelle decided to leave after becoming tired of the Palm Springs rain for the previous 2 days. Michelle called on another one of their liberal billionaire friends, Richard Branson, who owns an island in the Caribbean, and she asked him if she could stay with him right away. She was caught aboard his private jet without Barack or her daughters. She was all alone, free as a bird. A change of plans like this cost taxpayer hundreds of thousands of dollars, with the Secret Service having to be scheduled without warning and other accommodations needed to be made, but anything for spoiled Michelle, who looked pissed off at the airport. Barack was then seen looking like someone took his golf clubs away after Michelle delivered the bad news that she was leaving immediately. Whatever the case, Michelle is a spoiled brat who is having a hard time realizing that she's not the queen anymore. She's not the queen bee. After Michelle arrived on Branson's Necker Island, the private island in the Caribbean, the Obamas' public relation hacks scrambled to say that Barack was on the plane as well, but no one saw him. Not even one of the many reporters following them around. Quote, Michelle Obama was earlier seen boarding Branson's Falcon 900EX at Palm Springs International Airport. Her husband also boarded, but was not seen doing so, end quote. This is what was reported by the Daily Mail. So it's crazy to think Michelle is seen as she gets on the plane, but Barack is able to hide. What happened to him? He's wearing an invisibility suit. Getting on the plane without being spotted by anyone. That makes no sense. But this is clear. The Obamas, like the Clintons before them, did not leave the White House billionaires. Quote, poor Barack yearly pension is merely a measly $200,000 a year, not anywhere near the type of income they need to live in the style they became accustomed to in the White House. They're taking advantage of staying with billionaire donor friends right now, and Michelle's unscheduled abrupt trip signals just how upset she is with having to scale down her style of living. We couldn't be happier that reality is setting in for the Obamas. Now that most of the perks are gone, Michelle better get used to not having Air Force One or millions of taxpayer dollars to spend on lavish vacations. Of course, they do have their Obama Foundation that they just started up. They supposedly have the aim of establishing the Obama Library with Obama's documents and memoirs in there. And who knows how much money they'll get from that if anyone donates to them for their Obama Library in their Obama Foundation. I'll leave a link below for you for this. It's on Before It's News by The Last Great Stand. It has the embedded video by Voice of Reason.